The Haymarket Affair. On May 4th, 1886, 12 people were killed while protesters attending a rally clashed with police. It all started in the summer months of 1884. That summer, the Federation of Organized Trades and Labor Unions decided that on May 1st, 1886, they would begin a movement to get 8-hour workdays. They left a ton of time to plan for it. According to the laws at that time, they shouldn't have even needed a movement for 8-hour workdays. There's a federal law that says that workers should only be employed for 8 hours. Unfortunately, the federal government did not enforce this law. This allowed for businesses in Illinois to be able to force workers into waiving their conditions of employment and therefore making them work longer. After over a year of planning, an estimated 80,000 Chicago workers marched down Michigan Avenue. On May 2nd, 35,000 workers again protested. Their protesters caused disruption, and so the Chicago police attacked the picketers. Many were injured from this, but this caused for people to call for a protest on May 4th. There were supposed to be 20,000 people, but fewer than 2,500 people attended. Of the 2,500, not many people stayed late. Some didn't want to be in the rain, and others just got bored, mainly because they had had two backup speakers, because the main ones had canceled. Towards the end of the rally, there were only about 200 people left. It is unknown what started it, but what at some point 176 policemen attacked the workers at the rally. When they were attacked, someone threw a dynamite bomb, the first ever made, towards the police officers. It only directly killed one officer, but it caused the other officers to start shooting their own rifles, and this led to 6 other police officers being killed. The 6 were killed from their own officers firing aimlessly in the dark. Throughout this, 4 workers were also shot. It is interesting to see that many textbooks created in the 1800s and early 1900s did not include that the workers were killed. They only talked about the police. Martial law was then declared the next day. Martial law is when there is a military-style government and ordinary law is suspended. This meant that they didn't need search warrants or other things to arrest people. As a result of this, 32 people were arrested and 8 men were charged with murder. These were mainly labor leaders, but most of them were not even at the rally that night. Their names were August Spies, Oscar Neebe, Louis Ling, George Engel, Adolf Fischer, Michael Schwab, and Samuel Philden. There was no real evidence that proved that they were there, but there was a lot of fabricated evidence. Ultimately, a jury found all 8 of them guilty and sentenced 7 of them with the death penalty by way of hanging, and the last one was found not guilty of murder but was sentenced to 15 years of hard labor. The day before their hanging date, after it gained national media attention, a man named Samuel Gompers came and pleaded with the government to change their sentences. He was only able to change one sentence. That night, Louis Ling blew off his head with a dynamite cap, but no one ever knew how he was able to do it. The 3 others who were not able to get their sentences changed were hung. In 1893, the remaining 3 men alive, including the one sentenced to 15 years of hard labor, were pardoned. This event was used by the far right to say that and show that laborers were bad and should be targeted and disbanded.